All right, today we're diving into this really fascinating and honestly pretty provocative book from 1984 called The Secret Power of Music. And get this, it argues that music isn't just, entertainment. It's a fundamental cosmic force that literally has the power to shape our reality. So yeah, let's unpack that.
I mean, right off the bat, the whole book hangs on this massive question. It forces you to stop and think, what if sound isn't just something passive that we hear? What if it's an active power that's literally building up our world or tearing it down?
So you might be asking, where does an idea like that even come from? Well, the book kicks things off by claiming that ancient civilizations, we're talking everyone from China to Egypt, they didn't see music as art. They saw it as a sacred science, a way to tune their world into the harmony of the entire universe.
And this right here is the absolute core belief of the book. As in music, so in life. Think about that for a second. The idea is that a society's whole vibe, its morals, its structure, everything, it gets pulled into alignment with whatever music is dominant. It's a pretty wild concept, right?
And according to the book, this wasn't some fringe theory. They point to major thinkers like Confucius, who apparently viewed music as a kind of diagnostic tool for a nation's health. If the music was good, the government was good. If the music was chaotic, well, you get the picture.
The book really doubles down on this, especially with ancient China. It claims that the actual symbol, the character for music, was the exact same as the one for serenity. Its entire job wasn't to entertain, but to create balance and peace both inside a person and across the entire empire.
But, of course, the story doesn't stay there. According to the book, this ancient wisdom, it got lost. The author lays out what they call a great decline in Western music, a huge shift away from that original sacred purpose.
And the book pinpoints this decline starting right around the turn of the 20th century. Suddenly you have a new wave of musicians on the scene who, let's just say, didn't really have the same goals as the old masters. And that created this massive philosophical break.
And this slide, wow, it really nails the book's central argument. The claim is that music's entire direction changed. It used to point upwards, towards the divine, towards transcendence. But then it shifted to pointing horizontally at our messy human interactions, or even worse, pointing downwards into pessimism and pain.
And the book doesn't just talk in generalities. Oh no, it names names. It points to specific composers as the ones driving this change. Tchaikovsky, for instance, is said to have embraced fatalism. Debussy's music is described as astral, kind of seductive but not truly spiritual. And then with Schoenberg's acanality, the book basically says music just threw out the rule book of natural harmony altogether.
Okay, so this all begs a pretty big question. What are the actual real-world consequences of all this? According to the book, we're not just talking about matters of taste here. The claim is that music is an objective force with real, tangible, physical effects on the world. And to back this up, the book goes way back into history and myth. It starts with maybe the most famous example of tonal magic ever, the story of Joshua using nothing but sound from 7 trumpets to bring the massive walls of Jericho crashing down.
Then it moves into more recent and, let's be clear, pseudo-scientific territory. The book cites experiments from the 1970s by a researcher named Dorothy Redelack. And her work supposedly showed that plants, believe it or not, absolutely thrived with classical music. They grew towards it, but when exposed to hard rock, they were stunted, damaged, and literally leaned away from the speaker. The suggestion is that some sounds are just objectively life-giving, and others, not so much.
And the claims get even more out there. There's one anecdote in the book that suggests the sheer acoustic energy at a single rock concert was powerful enough to hard-boil a raw egg, which, really makes you wonder what that kind of energy is doing to our bodies. So, okay, where does the book say these so-called destructive rhythms even come from? Now, this is where the author makes what is by far their most controversial and, frankly, problematic argument. They try to trace a direct line from what they describe as the hedonism and malevolence of African voodoo rituals, moving through blues and jazz and landing squarely on modern rock and roll. It's definitely a viewpoint that reflects some serious historical biases, and it's a claim that is, to put it mildly, widely disputed. All right, so all of this leads us to the book's final, pretty stark conclusion about music's role in the world we live in right now. And here we are right back where we started. As in music, so in life. The book's final argument is that all the moral decay and chaos that people see in modern society isn't just happening alongside our music, it's a direct reflection of our music. Just as the author, David Tame, writes himself, music is a neutral power. It can be soothing or invigorating, ennobling or vulgarizing. It has, as he says, powers for evil as well as for good. The book's conclusion is basically that we're at a crossroads and we have to make a conscious choice about how we use this incredible force.
And that leaves us, and you, with the book's final challenge. It's asking us to look at our playlists not just as a matter of personal taste, but as an act that has real consequences in the world. So whether you buy into this whole idea or not, it leaves you with one heck of a question to think about, right? If music really does shape the world, what kind of world is your playlist creating?